Have you ever prayed for something so deeply that it felt like your soul was speaking, not your lips? That's where Hannah's story begins. Hannah was married to Elkanah, a man who loved her dearly. Scripture tells us that he cherished her, even giving her a double portion during sacrifices. Yet despite being loved, Hannah carried a silent burden. She had no child. In a culture where fruitfulness was often seen as a sign of divine favor, Hannah's barrenness wasn't just a private pain, it was a public wound. And to make matters harder, she lived daily with provocation. Peninnah, the other wife, constantly reminded Hannah of what she lacked. But here is where Hannah's wisdom quietly begins to shine. She did not allow bitterness to turn her heart away from God. Instead of becoming hardened, she became honest. Year after year, Hannah went up to the house of the Lord. And one day, overwhelmed, misunderstood, and deeply broken, she did something extraordinary. She poured out her soul before God. Not polished words, not rehearsed prayers, just raw emotion. Scripture says her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Even the priest Eli misjudged her, assuming she was drunk. Imagine that moment, misunderstood by people, burdened by delay, still choosing prayer. Hannah could have defended herself angrily, but she responded with humility and clarity. She said,
I am a woman troubled in spirit. I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord.
And then something shifts. Eli blesses her. He says,
Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him.
Hannah leaves that place changed. The Bible tells us her face was no longer downcast. Her situation had not yet changed, but her spirit had. That is often how God visits us. Not first by changing the circumstance, but by restoring peace within us. Hannah returned home, and in time the Lord remembered her. She conceived and gave birth to a son, and she named him Samuel, saying, Because I asked the Lord for him. This wasn't just joy, it was testimony. Every time she called his name, she remembered that God hears. But Hannah's story doesn't stop at receiving the blessing. This is where her wisdom deepens. She had made a vow. She promised God that if he gave her a son, she would give him back, dedicated to the Lord all the days of his life. And when the time came, Hannah kept her word. With a full heart and steady faith, she took young Samuel back to the house of God and entrusted him to the Lord. Think about that. She prayed for years to receive what she willingly released. That kind of faith teaches us mindfulness in our desires. Hannah understood that blessings are not meant to replace God, they are meant to point us back to him. She didn't cling tightly to the gift, she honored the giver. And here's the quiet lesson woven through her life. God visited Hannah not only because she prayed, but because she trusted. She trusted in pain, she trusted in waiting, she trusted enough to let go. If you are waiting today, remember this: peace can come before provision. Hope can rise before answers, and God has not forgotten you.